Good evening, everyone. Today, we'll be talking about a very important issue that has been in the center of the Moroccan public attention. Today's discussion is about the Moroccan education and its effects on the workplace. This webinar will be presented by my fellow teammates Wael Khomsi, Kenzer Houari, Mehdi Aitwali, Mehdi Skah, and myself. Reforming education has been a crucial priority for every government in the last decade. It is obvious for many that our educational system needs improvement. The first question goes to Mehdi. In your point of view, what might be the reasons behind why our educational system needs urgent enhancement?
Good evening, everyone. So the first point I will tackle is the cultural aspect of the workplace in Morocco. So first, before talking about culture, we have to differentiate between what we would call the Moroccan culture compared to American Western culture. So as you all know, the professional workplace and the workplace ethics are based on values and norms that have developed in Western countries, starting from the 18th, 19th centuries, after the industrial revolutions. So in the case of Morocco, as you all know, there are clear distinctions with cultural patterns that one might find in the US, for example. So the first aspect being that these values of the workplace are based on liberal democratic values, things that have only come to Morocco in recent history. Second aspect of this is the fact that the Moroccan culture is very different from these norms and values that I have mentioned. In Morocco, one finds social proximity, for example. People are very much getting involved in other people's businesses, and it's very common for unknown people to talk between each other. This leads to a reducing of professionalism, since people don't have straight norms and just do professional interactions as if it were only common interactions. A third aspect of the Moroccan culture is cultural, which is linked to religious, so cultural practices. So in Morocco, there are religious events such as the holy month of Ramadan, during which people are supposed to fast and thus cannot be in full working conditions. So this leads to an influence and an impact on the workplace during a time of the year, and shows that the workplace is not calibrated to the Moroccan culture, since it's Moroccan culture that has to calibrate to the professional workplace. Just like other Mediterranean countries, in Morocco we find the concept of the siesta, so which means the nap during the after lunch during midday, which is not found in North American or European countries. So that's again another distinction from a cultural aspect. Finally, from cultural practices, one might find, for example, in the Moroccan culture, it's very common to eat at home. So the lunch, usually eat it at home with your family, which entails people leaving the workplace to return for 1, 2, or 3 hours to their home, which leads to a lack of productivity, less productivity, and people doing more doing more way from their workplace to their home. The fourth aspect of Moroccan education and Moroccan culture on the workplace is gender. So as we all know, there are several gender issues all around the world, but there are a lot of them in Morocco, and which are still in progress. So the fact that most women in North America and Europe will go working is something that is very recent in third world countries. So Morocco is still developing from this from this aspect, as well as professional relationships relations in at work. So professional workplace entails professional interactions which do not entail any kind of sexual harassment or comments that are linked to one's gender, for example, which one might find in Morocco. And finally, the last aspect of our culture is bureaucracy. So bureaucracy has developed in European countries and has been in constant development since. The professional workplace is based on an administration type of model that can be found in European or North American countries, and this type of bureaucracy is fairly recent in Morocco, and thus explains why it still takes time to be fully comprehended and assimilated by the whole population. We have now seen the cultural aspects that impact the workplace. I will now give the floor to my classmates. وائل خبزي.
Thank you, Mehdi.
Thank you, Mehdi. Thank you for your insight
You're
on
welcome.
about the cultural aspects affecting our education. Now we are moving to another major aspect, which is the impact that languages have on our Moroccan workplace. I'll let my teammate Wael elaborate more on this subject.
Well, as as my teammates have said, it is very important to talk about culture and its impacts on the workplace as well as on education. What I want to talk about is the case of language, the use of language in Morocco. As you know, we are a very diverse society in terms of language. We have linguistically diverse we have a lot of languages like Arabic and Tamazight, and people are mastering a lot of foreign languages like Spanish in the north and French all over Morocco. But this diversity, some sort of it turns into confusion when it comes to its use, especially in the domain of education. As you know, scientific subjects like mathematics and physics are always have always been taught through elementary school and high school in Arabic. But when you come to the secondary states or the university, it's all taught in French, which causes some sort of confusion, especially for students. Now, another problematic thing is that this French language is also a big requirement in the workplace. However, when you consider the fact that the Moroccan market might or will become an international one, it's very problematic because we are lacking in terms of languages such as English. That is not really taught efficiently during these periods. Um, and so I think that one of the reforms that the education should tackle is language. And yeah, so now I will leave the floor to my teammate to elaborate more on this matter.
I'm sorry, my mic was off. So thank you, Wael, for this elaboration. The next major point we'll be discussing is the constraints that face the Moroccan educational system. I will leave the floor to Mehdi Aitwali to elaborate more on this subject.
Thank you, Ata. So first of all, I'd like to talk about the origin of the Moroccan educational system. At a time, it has been inspired by the French system in the colonial period, the protectorate period of Morocco, and the type of learning that was used in this period by the French at a time was learning by heart, which is not something that is still that can still be useful nowadays. the problem of critical thinking. The Moroccan educational system doesn't encourage critical thinking in its institutions. Thus, we know today that critical thinking is important to forge the personality of students, and also to help students think out of the box, which is not something that is currently happening in Moroccan schools. And finally, it is also a handicap in the workplace, because many people still keep up with the same type of learning, but it is not something that is suitable for the workplace. And that's it. I will leave the floor to my classmate.
Thank you, Mehdi. The last point will be on the effects of the Moroccan educational system on the chances an individual could benefit from in the job market. Tenza will help us understand more the situation.
So another problematic aspect of this issue is that the Moroccan job market does not provide a great variety of opportunities for the Moroccan youth freshly graduated. Therefore, it is fair to say that the Moroccan job market does not efficiently take advantage of the human resources the country has. Lack of opportunities can be explained by the general situation of the Moroccan job market. The 2018 unemployment rate in Morocco indicates that 10% of the active Moroccan population suffers from unemployment. This is why it is common for many Moroccans, especially the newly graduated students, to encounter very high job requirements. The thing can lead us to another major issue, which is the intellectual immigration of the elite that couldn't find suitable opportunities in their home country, which led and will lead future generations to leave country looking for better opportunities elsewhere.
Thank you, Kenza. Now to conclude, as it was discussed by my fellow teammates, it is crucial to know that the Moroccan education system is facing major setbacks that cause the system to be considered as inefficient. The Moroccan government should seriously consider taking specific measures in order to get over the challenges it is facing. Thank you for listening to us, and we'll see you next time.